Aquarius, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is your small story reading for December. So for these readings, I choose a book off of the shelf, turn to a page at random, and read that passage to you with the idea that that is somehow setting the tone for our reading, which we will then pull out from the cards. All right. So for those of you who've been following my channel or are new to my channel, these are readings that are hoping to zoom in a bit on something more specific that you may be going through, as opposed to the monthly shift readings, which I'll link to at the end, which are more of an overview energy. Okay, so let's jump in. The story that wants to speak to you today is Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower, which I'm very excited about sharing with you. One of my favorite books. I do want to offer a bit of a content warning. This does talk about the death of a close family member. So if that's not something that you can hear right now, and hear the feelings around the complexity of that grief, then maybe listen to this reading at another time. Okay, here we go. Okay. Dad never shed a tear. I've never seen him cry in my life, and today I wish he would. I wish he could. Curtis said I should cry. He said no matter how bad things had gotten between Keith and me or Keith and the family, I should let myself cry. Odd, until he brought it up, I hadn't thought about my own absence of tears. I hadn't cried at all. Maybe Corey had noticed. Maybe my dry face was just one more grudge she held against me. It wasn't that I was holding back, being stoic. It's just that I hated Keith at least as much as I loved him. He was my brother, half-brother, but he was also the most sociopathic person I'd ever been close to. He would have been a monster if he had been allowed to grow up. Maybe he was one already. He never cared what he did. If he wanted to do something and it wouldn't cause him immediate physical pain, he did it. Fuck the earth. He messed up our family, broke it into something less than a family. Still, I would never have wished him dead. I would never wish anyone dead in that horrible way. I think he was killed by monsters much worse than himself. It's beyond me how one human being could do that to another. And this is where I think the message is starting to hone in for you, Aquarius. If hyper-empathy syndrome were a common complaint, people couldn't do such things. They couldn't kill if they had to and bear the pain of it. They could kill if they had to and bear the pain of it or be destroyed by it. But if everyone could feel everyone else's pain, who would torture? Who would cause anyone unnecessary pain? I've never thought of my problem as something that might do some good before, but the way things are, I think it would help. I wish I could give it to people. Failing that, I wish I could find other people who have it and live among them. A biological conscience is better than no conscience at all. But as for me crying, if I were going to cry, I think I would have done it back when Dad beat Keith. I knew then that neither of them would ever forgive him, not ever. That was the end of something precious in the family. I wish Dad could cry for his son, but I don't feel any need at all to cry for my brother. May he rest in peace, in his urn, in heaven, or wherever. And then I want to read this little bit of the parable to you. Any change may bear seeds of benefit. Seek them out. Any change may bear seeds of harm. Beware. God is infinitely malleable. God is change. Okay. A little bit of heaviness here, Aquarius, to start your reading. I'm really honing in on this. You know, Aquarius has this incredible ability to connect to the spirit of the larger collective, and I'm feeling that here. I'm feeling that in this passage of someone experiencing this acute complexity around an intimate death in her relationship, in her family relationships, but connecting this to something much larger, which is an issue of a lack of human empathy. And how if we could feel each other's pain, no one would hurt anyone else. I think that's what's in this for you here. Okay. Let's go over to cards. Give you a couple shuffles and then we'll pull. Okay. What is this story for Aquarius? Well, that was... Okay. Just give me 1 second to arrange the cards. Okay. Aquarius, look at you. Oh man. Okay. We have frustration, fox, and the wheel. For those of you who follow the tarot, this is the 5 of swords, 5 of arrows, frustration. Okay, fox. So this is, I'm going to start here at the wheel. You are, okay, interesting. I don't know why I was just going to say this. Putting a flag out for change. That's what I saw this shirt as. You are putting a flag out, like waving the flag for change, putting a flag outside of your house, like putting the emblem on your shirt, like something. You're just wanting to display a message to the world that you are ready for change, that something needs to change. I think I'm really picking up on this part of that reading that was like the injustice of it all, you know, like, yes, my own personal experience of injustice, but like the collective injustice of it all is too much to bear. And I'm seeing you like almost casting a spell in the material world through something very physical and tangible to help incite that change, to help create that change yourself. Like whatever kind of effect we humans can have on larger entities such as change, which is really interesting that in the parable of the sower, she talks about God. She defines God as change. Change is God. God is change. She says that because she says it's the one force we can depend on, which I find quite beautiful. The one force we can depend on in this world is that things will change, that our lives will change, that we will change. And so if anything is God, if anything is to be worshipped, if anything is to be prayed to, it's change. It's that force. She equally recognizes its power to do harm and its power to do good, its malleability. And I feel like this is you, Aquarius. I have a friend who's an Aquarius who may identify with this. Hi, shout out. I'm loving that. Fox energy coming out. To me, the fox, this is the fox's philosophy. You know, like change is the philosophy of the fox. Because fox is nomadic. Fox moves with the changes, goes with the flow, follows their nose, follows their hunger, follows the whim of the day. You know, where can we get satiation today? It's going to be different than yesterday. We're in different territory today. You know, like fox lives by change. And so in the sense of this reading from the parable of the sower, fox lives as perhaps the most holy devotee to God. Wow. That is coming through really strong. I'm laughing just because the energy is like coming out of me and it's so physical. It's like if fox could wear a t-shirt. It would be the Wheel of Fortune, which represents the winds of change. Because that is the wisdom that Fox lives by. The tenets, the only tenet, the only rule that Fox lives by, perhaps, is the rule of change, is the God of change. And then we have this frustration. So this is definitely going with the reading. It's like you could sense such frustration in the narrator's voice, such frustration of just like, why does this happen? Like, why is humanity like this? Why can I feel things that others can't feel? Why do I seem to have the only clear view on things and everyone else is just absolute chaos, absolute monsters? You know, it's like, it's this larger collective frustration, which interestingly is like happening in the face of very intimate family members passing. And I'm not saying that's happening in your life, by the way. I don't feel that. Maybe that resonates for someone, but I don't feel that in this reading. That's not what this specific reading is about. It's just the catalyst as part of the story to talk about the larger collective frustration. It's interesting too, because in this card, we have an archer that's trying to hit their target. Phew, 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 phew. And it's not hitting. This goat that or ram or whatever it is that they're trying to get, they're just not hitting the target. It's not landing. It's not hitting the target here. And so there's this real frustration. I mean, good for this goat ram being for evading the hunter's arrows, but it's like you're trying to, you know, you as the hunter are trying to feed your family, and it's like you're trying to hit a target. Let's simplify it. Aquarius, you're trying to hit a target and you're just feeling incredibly frustrated. This moving target. Is that it? One second. No. Yeah. I mean, yes and no. Go with me. You're trying to hit this target and it's not hitting. And you're incredibly frustrated by that. And maybe you find yourself, or have recently found yourself, all in a freaking tizzy about it. Just like absolute frustration, and then something shifts. Something breaks. Maybe maybe you allow yourself to cry. I don't know. I was just gonna say that just because we started the reading with like, I wish I could cry about this, but I can't. I'm not, you know? I don't know. Something shifts between frustration and Fox, which is the Knight of Wands, by the way. Something shifts here. And I'm noticing the same colors. So this is you. You know, this is you shifting your shape. It's like you're shifting your shape into your wiser, higher animal wisdom being. Look at how satisfied Fox is. So you go from this energy of like absolute frustration to absolute peace, and almost like a laughing sense of humor. Oh, that's interesting that I was laughing so much when I was talking about this, because that's what was erupting out of me. And it almost looks like Fox is sort of giggling, you know? Fox has just got this like self-satisfied giggle smirk going on, because they just have the perspective. They understand how to roll with the punches, and how to that change is the only constant, you know? And so all this frustration, and then suddenly something shifts in you, and you like go into your higher self almost, or you go into a deeper part, a different part of your wisdom and understanding. And suddenly you're like, oh, right. Oh, right. Change. There's no, right, okay. I'm being frustrated because this target is constantly moving and I can't seem to hit it, because I'm wanting things to be linear, and things are just not linear. Things are ever always in motion. Things are always shifting and changing, and I have to move with the shifts and the changes if I'm going to hit any kind of target. That's interesting. the changes. We have the seasons here. We have day and night here. I think you just get a larger perspective here on what needs to happen in order for you to find peace within a perhaps frustrating, chaotic, constantly changing energy. Okay. Aquarius. Let's end this part of your reading with Brian Froud's fairy deck. Let's pull a fairy guidance for Aquarius. What's the fairy guidance for Aquarius here? That was quick. Yeah, Mickle. Exactly. Exactly. Play. Have a little fun. Remember to be light of heart. That's what Mickle says. Mickle says, remember to joke. Remember to be light like a child. Remember to play and goof off and be silly. Perhaps through playing, taking a playful approach, you will find a different perspective or a different solution or a different way of going about something. Play, which is interesting because embodying the spirit of play and curiosity is essentially to wear the t-shirt of the Wheel of Fortune, like to put this emblem of change right on your chest and to move from there through the world. In order to move with change as your God, you've got to see life from the perspective of play and curiosity. The perspective of a child, really. It's beautiful. It's lovely. Now I'm getting this vision of Mickle playing with the fox and them goofing off in the woods together somewhere. I like it. I like it a lot. So Aquarius, I'm going to take this into an extended reading and now unpack this energy. Okay. I want to figure out why you're frustrated. What's the situation? We're going to get specific now. What's the situation that's got you feeling so frustrated? What is this constant change that's happening in your life that's leaving you feeling a bit frustrated? And then what is the catalyst? How do you find this greater perspective if you haven't already? How do you call upon this higher animal wisdom to help you navigate this shift, this constant shifting, this constant change? And is there any other fairy guidance that we can get along with Mickle? Okay, so we're going to jump into that extended reading now. I'm going to put a little preview of that reading at the end here, so that if it's resonating with you, you'll know it, and you can click the link in the description box below. That will take you over to Vimeo, where you can view this extended instantly. Okay, so if that's for you, I'll see you over there. Regardless, Aquarius, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. The fox wakes up hungry and spends the day pursuing its hunger. So does the poet. And for whatever reason in this spread, the poet and the bright mother, so we have a mother here who's focusing on this baby, right? Focusing on the babies. This caretaking energy, these two have their backs to one another. So either these are different fragments of yourself that are turned away from one another, or this is someone in your life. It's you're turning away. You're turning away from one another here. You have your backs to each other.